Hey there, and welcome. Ever just stop and look around at the world and wonder how everything gets its shape? From the phone you're holding to the chair you might be sitting on, it was all designed, all created by someone. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret language behind it all, dimensional thinking. So let's just jump right in with a question. What on earth could a delicate, little paper bird possibly have in common with a solid, heavy wooden chair? Well, the answer is this kind of magic of transformation. It's the journey from a flat idea, a simple thought, into a three-dimensional object that you can actually hold and use. And to really get a handle on that journey, we first have to learn to think in a totally new dimension. It's this fundamental shift. It's the difference between just seeing something flat, like a drawing, and really understanding an object that exists in the real world with you. Think about it. A picture, a drawing, it's got two dimensions, right? Height and width. But a 3D object, well, it adds that absolutely crucial third element, depth. That's the whole ballgame. Depth is what gives the paper bird its wings and the chair its legs. It's the secret ingredient that turns a flat blueprint into a real, tangible thing. Okay, so how do designers even start creating these 3D objects? Where do they begin? Well, it turns out that the entire physical world, in all its amazing complexity, can actually be broken down into some very, very basic building blocks. That's right. It sounds almost too simple to be true, but every single thing, from a giant skyscraper to a tiny seashell, is built from just two fundamental families of shapes. It's an incredibly simple idea that unlocks, well, basically everything. So on one side, you've got geometric forms. These are the precise, mathematical shapes you remember from school. Cubes, spheres, cones. They're predictable, they're regular. And then on the other side, you have organic forms. These are the irregular, free-flowing shapes you see out in nature, like clouds or rocks or leaves. They're totally unique and unpredictable. But here's the thing. A form, whether it's a perfect cube or a beautiful, flowing curve, is really still just an idea floating around. The next and maybe most important step for any creator is to give that idea some real physical substance. And that is where materials come into the picture. And this, right here, this is the moment where it all changes. An idea is weightless, it's nothing. But choosing a material, that's what gives it substance. That's the decision that's going to determine its final weight, its texture, how it feels in your hand, and its very presence in the world. So let's see how this actually plays out. We're going to look at three really common materials, and you'll see that each one has its own unique properties, its own personality, and it speaks its own distinct language. First up, we've got wood. It's this amazing natural material that just instantly connects us to the outdoors. It's known for being strong, of course, but also for those beautiful, unique patterns called grain. I mean, no two pieces of wood are ever exactly alike. And its versatility is just incredible. That natural strength makes it perfect for sturdy furniture and even entire buildings. But at the same time, the way it can be carved and shaped allows for these incredibly delicate sculptures and detailed little toys. It's a material that's both powerful and graceful all at once. All right, next up, metal. Metal is super durable, but its real superpower is that it's malleable, which is just a fancy way of saying you can hammer it, bend it, and twist it into all kinds of shapes without it breaking. Some metals are ridiculously strong, and others are surprisingly soft and easy to work with. And this flexibility is everything. That malleability lets artists shape it into delicate jewelry and complex sculptures. But its durability makes it the absolute backbone of all these hardworking, everyday objects we totally rely on. Things we barely even notice, like the sturdy tools in a garage or the simple hinges on a door. And finally, we have textiles. So think fabrics, yarns, and fibers. Their language is all about comfort and texture and color. They're defined by being soft and flexible, and you can weave them, stitch them, or knit them into pretty much anything you can imagine. And this plays out in our lives every single day. We see it in the obvious stuff, right? Like clothing and blankets. But that very same ability to be woven and stitched creates everything from huge decorative wall hangings to incredibly detailed quilted art. Textiles take care of our most basic needs for warmth, but also our desire for pattern and beauty. But, it's not enough to just know what a material can do. The really great designers and craftspeople, they have a whole philosophy about how materials should be used. And this brings us to a guy named Gustav Stickley. Stickley was a world-famous furniture maker who really pushed this powerful idea he called truth to materials. He believed that the material itself, the wood, the metal, was the star of the show. So to cover it up with paint or to hide how it was built was, in his mind, basically being dishonest. Now, what's so cool about this slide is how it really just breaks his whole philosophy down. Instead of hiding the joints where the wood connects, Stickley exposed them. He celebrated them. Instead of painting over the wood, he let that beautiful natural grain be the main attraction. It just perfectly illustrates his core belief. Show the craft, show the material, be honest about what you've made.
And that brings us to our final thought. Just for a second, look at the objects right around you. Is the desk you're using being honest about its wood? Is the metal on your laptop celebrated, or is it hidden away? Because once you start understanding this language of form and material, you really never see the world the same way again. So, what story are the materials around you telling?